Welcome back to the YS channel, everybody. We review movies from the bad to the good and the obscure. So today, Cameron, I think we got a bit of a nostalgia classic and favorite. What is your favorite Pokemon?
It's easy, Derek. It's Magmar.
Fuck you. My favorite is Machamp, because he's got four fists to beat the crap out of you.
Well, Magmar can shoot fire in volcanoes.
Well, Machamp's a weird looking muscle speedo wearing lizard man monster thing that beats you up. So, Machamp wins. Anyhow, with that said, Machamp's actually in this movie, and that movie today is Pokemon the movie Mewtwo Strikes Back, otherwise known as Pokemon the first movie. So, as many of you know out there, right, especially us 90s kids, right? Yeah. There is a new Pokemon game out there, Pokemon Legends ZA. But however, way back in the day, going back to the 90s, like 98, 97 for us over here in the States, the original Pokemon games were released to the Western Hemisphere. And of course, that would be Pokemon Red and Blue version, for all of you unaware. And back in that day, there was only 151 original Pokemon. And that was the case when this movie came out.
After rewatching Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which is the 3D CGI remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back, I want to apologize to parents everywhere, including our mom and grandma, for taking us to see this movie because it really is a stink burger of a movie. Even though. As a child, I had fond memories of watching the movie in theaters. But Mewtwo Strikes Back, after rewatching it, there's a lot of flaws, even for a children's movie. For starters, it's actually heavily edited from its original Japanese release.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was 4Kids was the one that had the rights to the dub at the time, and they were known for fucking things up. So, just to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, the Pokemon anime, as it was at that time, and honestly even today, simply isn't made for big screen, the theatrical blockbuster movies. And Mewtwo Strikes Back proves that. It's a very basic vanilla plot, and the voice acting isn't much better than from the TV broadcast version of the show, which doesn't translate well to your parents, your mom and dad taking you and spending the money to watch this shit. Oh. Now, don't get me wrong. Like you said, I got fond memories of watching it. So I do look back upon this with favorable nostalgia lenses. But yeah, as you were saying, it's not a great movie.
Well, it's also. I hate to interrupt you. I've only seen three of the original Pokemon movies, and Mewtwo Strikes Back is actually the weakest out of the three. I won't say which other two were better, or the best. But basically, the plot of Mewtwo Strikes Back is that the clone of Mew, who is the hidden 151st Pokemon in the original games, Mewtwo wants to prove that his clones are superior to the biological Pokemon, and that they are better in every way. Also, Mewtwo hates humans for creating him and not giving him a purpose. He invites a bunch of trainers, including Ash Ketchum, to his island where he steals their Pokemon, clones them, and has them duke it out. Mew intervenes, and a big dumb fight between the originals and clones erupts.
All right. So, for anybody who hasn't seen this or the computer animated remake, Mewtwo is pretty much an omnicidal maniac who's hell-bent on destroying Earth as we know it. That is the plot of this movie. And he uses Pokemon battles as a mechanism to prove his point of superiority. He was meant to be a superior clone of the original Mew. And he's like, I'm going to take that a step further and make superior clones of all the Pokemon. And then I'll kill all the non-clones and all the humans. Yay. Yeah. That's literally the plot of this movie. All right. And of course, how Ash and his friends get roped into it is, of course, they have a Pokemon battle near the start of the movie, right? Where, they actually introduce a yet-to-be discovered Pokemon, which I won't elaborate too much on here. But anyhow, during this battle, Mewtwo has all his spy probe things that, identify him. He's like, oh, I need to bring this one over here to fucking teach his ass a lesson. And he gets the invite to the Mewtwo's Mystery Island. And, he summons pretty much all the strongest trainers, which I don't recall Ash's rival being there, which would have been funny.
His rival is not there. But it would have been fun to watch him get clapped twice in the same movie, because when Giovanni dons the armor on Mewtwo and has him battle in the Viridian City gym. One of the people he fights and defeats easily is Gary.
Yeah, he got clapped hard. I like that part. The armored Mewtwo was pretty badass, but yeah. Yeah, so the news will say they'll end up there, right? And he unveils this big scary plot. And of course, Mew's trying to soften him up. And he's like, he shouldn't kill everybody. And he's like, fuck you. I'm better than you. No, you're not. That's pretty much how it is, right? Of course, it's done with annoying, squeaky Pokemon voices, which I cannot replicate here to save my life. And it'll probably get trademark flagged. It'll probably get trademark flagged, too, if you get too close to it. So I'd rather not do that, because we're not a funded channel. We don't have any sponsorships, and as much as I like to shoot it from the hip on this kind of stuff, I don't want Nintendo taking our fucking channel down. Not yet, anyhow. But yeah, the plot is as basic as A to B as you can get. Although it's kind of dark for a children's movie, if you ask me. Now, to touch on some nasty, dark details, there is a little conspiracy about the movie. So, when the Mewtwo battle is underway, right? And he starts stealing all the trainers' Pokemon to clone them. All the robot arms, right? That, use the, weird-ass Pokeball things he creates. The arms look whole, skeletal, right? You go back and, look at that detail, they all look like your skeleton, right? And one of the dark rumors, which obviously it's not true, but it's kind of disturbing to think about, because it very well could have been woven into the plot, is on the island where Mewtwo was born, he kills all the scientists, which is the same island that he uses for the base of his operations. He uses the skeletal remains and his psychic powers to create the fucking robots and shit. Of course, that's just a little dark fan theory of the movie. It's never been It's never been officially cooperated by the Pokemon Company or Nintendo in any way, shape, or form.
Now, Mewtwo Strikes Back, the English dub that we saw, is actually not the original Japanese language cut of the movie. There's some scenes that were removed and dialogue changed to suit the narrative for kids' entertainment. Basically, they dumbed down the movie's plot to make it acceptable for little kids. And what they did was they made a movie that kids would enjoy, but drove parents insane. I remember our mom and grandma taking me to see the movie, and they couldn't stand the terrible voice acting and all the Pokemon voices, which it works on the TV show to a certain degree, because you're only getting a 20-minute episode of Pokemon, but it doesn't work well in a feature-length movie where the main plot of the movie is a genocidal clone of Mew trying to tell Ash Ketchum that he's better in every way, shape, or form, and that he will kill all living organisms to prove it and clone them.
He actually does kill Ash in the movie.
Well, yes. Well, he does. And then
Spoiler. Yeah, spoiler. He actually does kill his ass.
But actually, it's a combination of Mew and Mewtwo, because Ash gets caught in the middle of their psychic beam battle, and he gets turned to stone, but in the end he gets revived, but basically, Mewtwo Strikes Back. I'll apologize to parents everywhere. Everywhere like it really is a terrible movie with no real morals coming from it, which I'll let you explain when I'm done here. But the reason Mewtwo Strikes Back was a hit. Had like they did it with the first 3 Pokemon movies, and they did it again with Pikachu Detective. Is every time you saw the movie, you get a promo card. A promo card. The first movie got like the choice of 4 or 5 promo cards at random, and when Pokemon movie 2000 came out, you get the choice of 3 or 4 yet again, including this cool as one called Ancient Mew, and then when the Dirt movie came out, you had the choice of Entei. Like the movie knew how to lure kids in, and get a free card, and you watch your favorite trainer draw punches against Mewtwo, but again, the English language dub in the movie is so fucking poorly written that I now understand why parents hate the movie and the Pokemon franchise to begin with, because like the voice acting is terrible, the writing is terrible, even for a children's movie, and in the end, and there's a moral in the movie that fighting is wrong, but that goes completely against the
Till we meet again in a future TV episode. But yeah, as far as movies goes, even the level of animation for this, right, is nowhere near enough to justify it being theatrically released. It only got theatrically released to cash in the hype of the Pokemon franchise in the United States and the West at the time. Like you said, they gave out the promo Pokemon cards, which the Pokemon trading card game was taking off like wildfire, right? The anime, super popular. The video games are selling hotcakes. The movie came out at the right time. And it had all the little other gimmicks to incorporate and drive up the hype even to levels further beyond. Like it was a cash cow. Now the movie does a couple things well. All right.
That's saying something right there.
Well, for one, it was meant to generate money, which it did that phenomenally. And it was meant to drum up hype for the upcoming future of the Pokemon franchise, which after red and blue versions were released, they had like the gold and silver versions. And there are little tie-ins to that in this one. Because like the hype train was getting ready for that when this came out. Because they throw in a couple like unidentified Pokemon in the movie. And then a little short movie that's paired with the Pikachu movie or something.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, those are... oh, God. Well, you got the like 20 to 30 minutes of Pikachu saying, Pika, 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 Pika. I get it. I get it. Yeah, so this movie, as you said, from a technical standpoint, it's not a great movie. From a narrative standpoint, it's not a great movie. If you're a fan of the Pokemon franchise, you're more than likely to have already seen it. So, for a Pokemon movie, it's a good movie. Now, if you want like you said earlier, the best movie in the whole Pokemon franchise is Detective Pikachu. And one of the reasons why that worked so well is it's that handcuffed to the main series of the games or the anime. So they can do almost whatever they wanted. So that's how you get Ryan Reynolds as a smart-ass Pikachu. So like, they're not handcuffed. Whereas the rest of these movies that we were discussing, primarily the Mewtwo Strikes Back, there's only so much they can do. Like they're handcuffed to whatever the anime was doing, and whatever Pokemon video game the video game franchise was doing at the time. Like, Nintendo wasn't gonna let them deviate too far from the plot there.
I'll say this about Pikachu Detective Pokemon Detective Pikachu. One thing they got right was they focus the story on human development and center it around the human instead of the Pokemon, and then the story focuses on Pikachu as well, but instead of having him do Pika Pika throughout the entire movie, he is actually voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and he actually has dialogue that ties into the story, and also helps unravel the mystery that's at the core of the movie, which I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't seen the movie.
I'll spoil it because it's been out long enough. It also involves Mewtwo on a
Uh,
genocidal fucking rampage. Like, actually, it's not that far off. So,
man, man,
I
YouTube.
won't spoil I won't spoil the rest of it though.
Yeah.
But that movie gets a lot of things right. Like, if they wanted to actually make a movie that ties into the main or core series of games, because Detective Pikachu is actually based off a spin-off game of the franchise. There's actually a game called Detective Pikachu. I've never played it. I just know of it. But if they wanted to do one that's based off the core series of the games, they probably should or could do it similar to that. You know, like, don't have it weighed down by whatever the fucking anime is doing. Just have it be its own thing. And then, yeah. But needless to say, at least Mewtwo Strikes Back, they dumped some lore. You know, which some of it might have been already retconned up to this point. I don't know anymore. You know, you get some lore dump, you know, you get the creation of Mewtwo, right? At least how you see how that was intended to look like and everything. And then, unless you were in Japan, this would have been most people's first real official introduction to Mew. So, because, like, I remember all those rumors in the playground back in the day, like, Sal, you look under the truck over there by the seaport, there's a Mew under the truck, and all that bullshit. And then they officially confirmed that's a real thing, and like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. Let's go find it. So with that said, from the view of like nostalgia, it's a fun watch. But if you're trying to use this as a way to get into the franchise yourself, don't start. Don't start with this one. Just start with one of the games or something. Like, seriously, you just don't start. It's a bad movie. It's just like what's the other franchise that used to be popular in the 90s? Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, Power Rangers.
You know, like, I try to like rewatch like the original Power Rangers movie, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't.
There's two of us.
It's like watching like Saved by the Bell like level acting combined with choreography of a Godfrey Ho movie. Like, I just couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, look about it. Mewtwo Strikes Back is watchable. It's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it is watchable. There's enough of a plot. There's enough going on to follow along. You know, it is watchable. So, with that said, you know, thank you all for tuning in for our review and / rant and discussion about the original Pokemon movie. If you like these reviews and rants and discussions, feel free to always drop a like, follow, or subscribe to this channel. We always truly greatly appreciate it. And then with that said, you know, Pokemon does have a new game out, the Legends ZA or something. If you're a fan of that, go check that game out. I'm sure there's going to be a new anime or movie project to tie into that at some point. So the franchise keeps ticking. You know, it sounds like hotcakes to this day. So with that said, thank you all for tuning in.
There, people.